It's been a long journey from Pallet Town, and the Pokemon League is almost within reach. I've got Cinnabar Island on the horizon, where another gym leader is waiting for me. And finally, some looming plot points are about to come together. But first, I have a small problem to figure out. Where's a good vacation spot around here?
Vacation need a little sun to break up all the frustration and turn it into love. Ain't nobody gonna tell us what we gonna do because today it's up to you. Temptation calling out to me a little relaxation. I'll be free to think I'm on a wicked, wicked loo at the late. It's gonna start now. Kick it back to the track, kick it back to the track. Vacation's where I wanna be. Party on the beach where the fun is free. We don't need a holiday to start to celebrate. 'Cause I need a break, I need a vacation.
To recap why I'm going on vacation, the previous few episodes had some pretty heavy character development for Ash and his Pokemon. During the intro of this series, I talked about obedience, and this is where it will become a factor for the rest of the playthrough. In the problem with Paris, Ash runs into a trainer who's trying to evolve her Paris. Ash tries to help her by letting her battle his Pokemon, but he tells them to go easy on it. However, this thing is weaker than Ash's common sense. A slight breeze would be super effective against this thing. So when that doesn't work, Ash pulls an Ash and sends out his strongest Pokemon,
I choose you, Charmeleon!
who absolutely murders Paris. Who then gets pissed off at Ash for such a lame battle.
What are you doing, Charmeleon?
When Ash told Charmeleon to act weak for this battle, it must have been instant PTSD for this guy, because his previous trainer abandoned him for being weak.
But that puny thing was so weak, it couldn't even beat the weakest opponents.
So in a great display of teenage angst, Charmeleon rebels against Ash for like a long time, like the rest of the season long.
I was so happy when Charmander evolved, but now I'm not so sure I was ready for it.
So there I was trying to figure out, how do I incorporate Charmeleon's disobedience into the gameplay? If I had received Charmeleon through a trade, his disobedience mechanic would already be built in. But since he is given to you in the game recognizes you as the original trainer. And in Pokémon Yellow, a Pokémon will never disobey you if you're its original trainer. To get around this, I've seen other YouTube playthroughs either hack their game to change his trainer ID, or trade in Charmeleon from another friend's game. But like I said, I didn't want to use any hacks for this game, and I don't have friends, so here's how I did it. Once Charmander evolved into Charmeleon, in every turn that I used him, I would roll a dice. Numbers 1 through 4 represent his 4 moves from top to bottom. If I rolled a 5, I would have to switch him out for another Pokemon. And if I rolled a 6, I get to use whatever move I want. So this is how I simulated Charmeleon's unpredictability and disobedience. So, believe me or don't, but I rolled that dice every single time I used Charmeleon and Charizard for the rest of this playthrough. The next time we see Charmeleon is during the battle of the prehistoric Pokemon. Aerodactyl completely humiliates Charmeleon.
A first-round knockout.
In Pokemon Yellow, there's no way to battle Aerodactyl, so what I did was pick up the old Amber from Pewter City, brought it to Cinnabar Island, revived the fossil into Aerodactyl, pulled up his Pokedex page, and then I just went to battle some Pokemon in the Cinnabar Mansion. No hacks here, I just edited Aerodactyl's image onto the Pokemon I was actually battling, only for entertainment purposes, pure cinema. And as cool as this battle could have been, Jigglypuff shows up and lands a double kill, so that's cool too, I guess. And to address the Venusaur in the room, the next major event that happens in the series relevant to this playthrough is that Bulbasaur doesn't want to evolve, and he makes a whole episode about it.
It looks like it's trying not to evolve.
So whatever, it's annoying, but I just cancel his evolution every time he levels up. So now that I've recapped all the way up to Cinnabar Island, and since I'm talking about fossils and the Cinnabar Mansion, I think it's time to go down the Team Rocket rabbit hole.
Who's that Pokémon?
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to mention that I collect Pokemon cards, and to protect them, I highly recommend Ravipur. They have really cool Pokemon-themed binders, and they even do custom images. This isn't a paid or sponsored ad, I just think they're a good business. So I'll put a link in the description. Back to the show.
It's Mewtwo!
Mewtwo.
So as for this Team Rocket story arc, I'm about to go way in depth. But before I do that, I need to give all the credit in the world to a channel called Birdkeeper Toby, or as he appears to go by now, Lorekeeper Toby. He made a lot of this information make sense to me through his lore videos. So if you're looking to deep dive into more Pokemon lore, you need to be at his channel right now. Stop this video, go there. His videos are great. Now, having given credit where credit's due, let's get into it. Your arrival on Cinnabar Island is, at least to me, where all of the storyline pieces start to come together. In order to enter Blaine's gym, you need to find a key that's located in the Cinnabar Mansion. The mansion appears to be abandoned and has a lot of damage to it. It doesn't take much exploring to figure out that this is not an ordinary mansion. It's got statues with hidden switches, locked doors, strange machinery in various rooms, and most interestingly to me, several documents concerning the discovery of a new Pokemon, Mew. The documents are dated February 6th, July 5th, July 10th, and September 1st. But I don't think this is the order in which the events occurred in the notes. This is how I perceive the storyline within the notes. July 5th, Guyana, South America. A new Pokemon was discovered deep in the jungle. July 10th, we christened the newly discovered Pokemon Mew. February 6th, Mew gave birth. We named the newborn Mewtwo. September 1st, Mewtwo is far too powerful. We have failed to curb its vicious tendencies. Judging by the context of these notes, the events occurred over the course of about a year and a half, from July 5th to September 1st of the following year. And those familiar with Pokemon know that this information concerns the creation and experimentation of Mewtwo, with September 1st being the final diary entry before Mewtwo turns on the scientists and escapes. Given the presence of scientist trainers throughout the mansion, I think it's reasonable to assume that this was at least one location where they conducted experiments on Mewtwo and held him in captivity. At some point, the laboratory was either destroyed or abandoned, which appears to be the reason for the construction of the new laboratory on Cinnabar Island, where scientists continue to work to resurrect fossils from ancient Pokemon. And if you're the type of gamer who likes to explore, in the front lobby of this laboratory, you'll find a portrait of one of the founders, Dr. Fuji, who appears, I assume, to have had a history conducting research at the Pokemon Mansion as well, leading me to believe that he had a part in the creation of Mewtwo. According to the note that says that Mew was discovered in Guyana, it says nothing about them capturing Mew. In fact, I think there's more to these diary notes. And there's no mention of Mew after the February 6th entry stating that Mew gave birth. I would think that Mew would be important enough to mention beyond the creation of Mewtwo. So that had me thinking. When they used the phrase Mew gave birth, I don't think they meant it in the literal sense. The phrase giving birth can be used in other contexts. For example, Professor Oak gave birth to the Pokédex. In this sense, I think they may have discovered Mew, but not captured it, and then found a Mew fossil, because they wouldn't have known what they were looking at if they didn't already know about the Pokemon itself. Additionally, the discovery of Mew and its fossil could have occurred in two completely separate locations, and a known point for the location of fossils among the Kanto population is Mount Moon. I believe that this is where Mew's fossil could have been discovered, and I think that my previous interactions with Team Rocket support this. The first of which being their search for fossils as you're journeying through the mountain. Since Team Rocket was already pretty well established in Mount Moon before I arrived there, I believe that at that point in the game they may have already discovered and began experimenting on Mew's fossil. Within the game timeline, I believe that Mewtwo has already escaped his laboratory by the time you reach Cerulean City. For those who have played through this game already, we know that Mewtwo is located in Cerulean Cave. As Birdkeeper Toby points out in his videos, it's possible that Mewtwo had some kind of instinctual urge to return to the cave. But why Cerulean Cave? Well, I think Birdkeeper Toby is correct, that if you look at a map of Kanto, Mount Moon and Cerulean Cave are within the same mountain range. It's entirely possible that even though Team Rocket was occupying Mount Moon, that may not be the part of the mountain range where they found Mew's fossil. Cerulean Cave may very well be the location where Mew's fossil was located and why Mewtwo has decided to return there. Now, Team Rocket's not the kind of organization that would just roll over defeated. I think that when Mewtwo escaped, Team Rocket attempted to return to that mountain range in order to find another Mew fossil. And it makes sense to me why there would be a Team Rocket member stealing the TM for Dig so close to the Cerulean Cave. What better way to dig up a fossil? The other Team Rocket member in Cerulean City is guarding the end of Nugget Bridge, directly next to the entrance of Cerulean Cave, probably trying to ensure that no one interferes with the operation. I think that what happened next is that Team Rocket either found another fossil and failed to replicate what they had with Mewtwo, or they accidentally found Mewtwo hiding in his place of origin. Either way, I think that this would result in another attempt to capture Mewtwo, but come on, they can't beat a 10-year-old with a rat. They're not going to capture Mewtwo. I would assume that they would have been overpowered by Mewtwo and had to retreat from the cave. This would force Team Rocket to come up with another plan, and what is your best chance to weaken a Psychic type? I believe that Team Rocket decided a Ghost type Pokemon would be their best chance at recapturing Mewtwo. And I think this is what leads Team Rocket to steal the Silph Scope in order to use it at the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town. Instead, you as the player manage to stop their plot and take the Silph Scope to the tower yourself. But once you get to the top of the tower, you'll find Team Rocket members attacking, wouldn't you know it, Dr. Fuji. After defeating Team Rocket, when you speak to Dr. Fuji, he appears unsurprised that Team Rocket was after him. He didn't even seem to feel threatened. He then explains to you that he now lives in Lavender Town to care for Pokemon. If this is the same Dr. Fuji who helped found the Pokemon Lab in Cinnabar Island and probably had something to do with Mewtwo's creation, it strikes me that he has some kind of remorse and is trying to atone for his actions by dedicating his life to now caring for Pokemon. Having denied Team Rocket access to capturing a Ghost-type Pokemon, this likely forced them to focus on the Silph Co headquarters itself. In Saffron City, you find a full-scale Team Rocket invasion, specifically the takeover of the Silph Co Tower, and it's your job to storm in there and die hard your way to the top to rescue the president. As you interact with Team Rocket grunts and Silph Co employees along the way, you're fed information about Team Rocket's intent, the Master Ball, a type of Pokeball that can capture any Pokemon without fail, and Silph Co is the only company that produces it. At the top of the tower, you find Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, who at this point, it's clear to me that this is probably his last-ditch effort to storm Cerulean Cave and bonk Mewtwo in the forehead with a Master Ball. But again, with the power of protagonist plot armor, you defeat him and stop the plan once and for all. And that concludes what I think makes sense is the intended story arc of Team Rocket. If this is the intended plot, then of course it's difficult to put together. This is a game designed for 10-year-olds from the perspective of a 10-year-old. As you read documents and computer screens throughout the Silph Co Tower, your character constantly informs you that it's just a bunch of mumbo-jumbo and he doesn't understand. Well, of course, that's because he's a kid. But Pokemon has always been a franchise that has something for adults to enjoy too. So who knows? Maybe the intent is for this to be a game for kids and a story for adults. Again, it's all just theory, and I give all the credit to Birdkeeper Toby for pulling all this information together, making a whole video about it, and making me think, he might be right. But Ash doesn't think that deeply into anything. You know what's on his mind? Gym badges. Unfortunately, he has to do a whole lot of thinking to earn a battle with Blaine. Oof, but to get there, he has to figure out some riddles.
The answer is a riddle. What do tourists think is hot and cool?
I know the answer to that one. If you lie down in front of an open refrigerator and you wrap yourself in an electric blanket, you'll be hot and cool at the same time, right?
Totally wrong.
Hot springs are really
That sucks. Blaine loves riddles, and getting the right answer is the only way to reach him. Or just beat the crap out of his trainers. I choose violence. Turns out I hate riddles too, so I demolished his entire workforce and then I finally faced the big man himself. In the anime, Blaine uses Ninetales, Rhydon, and Magmar. In Yellow, he has Ninetales, Rapidash, and Arcanine. So I can't make a perfect parallel here, but I can use Ash's Pokemon in order.
I guess you solved my riddle. Careful, he must raise some awesome fire Pokemon in this volcano.
Use your water Pokemon, Ash. I know that.
Ready to begin?
Ready when you are.
Fine, I've already selected my first Pokemon. Ninetales, go!
Go, Squirtle!
A water type, how predictable. Go Ninetales, Fire Spin now! Fire Spin is Ninetales' most powerful attack.
Squirtle, water gun now! Oh, Squirtle! Please, Squirtle, you can't give up yet.
Squirtle. Choosing a Pokemon is more than selecting the right type. It takes wisdom to win a gym battle.
Then I'll fight fire with fire.
Okay, but I won't, so I'm going to use the Pokemon that Ash actually uses in this battle.
So you've chosen a Charizard. Return, Ninetales. Now I'll teach that kid a lesson. Go Rhydon!
Max power!
Rhydon, Fury attack! Hey, pretty impressive.
Pikachu, Thunderbolt now!
Ha! Electric attacks won't work, boy.
Pikachu, the horn!
Oh no!
It worked!
Smart move. Rhydon's horn acts just like a lightning rod.
I'm sure Rhydon got a charge out of that.
Rhydon, return! I'll have to choose a different Pokemon.
Pikachu can handle anything!
Team Rocket, something, something, now we're on top of the volcano. And since Charizard obeys during this battle, I can use whatever moves I want.
Charizard flamethrower attack!
With only one badge to go, Ash is that much closer to the Pokemon League, and you might be caught off guard by how I'm going to approach it. Find out next week.